beautiful. Just beautiful.
That is regarding anybody looking at their emails at fucking 9 o'clock this morning. Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. As we're just about to put on the ticker there, we're just back with a video, obviously, to discuss a few things that have happened over the last few days and look back on that derby at the weekend over the last time we probably speak about it before we move on to the build up to Hibs. I'm joined by Alistair, and did you get a special invite?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yeah, and unlike Naveed's wedding, they don't serve alcohol either. But
Oh, that's not didn't think of that. Very good. No, you need to get a still game reference in there, man. Sometimes. But no, see, I've went most every cup game for the last two years. Didn't went with a ticket for any semi final, a final, and somehow I've got two in the trot. So, I mean, take it while it's good. So, but I'll start. We're here to discuss Celtic being cunts as usual.
yeah,
We're also here to discuss just things about the derby. I mean, we may as well start with that derby game because I think when you do, post match reaction, it's kind of heat at the moment and stuff, and you kind of in the next few days you realise you kind of like come to your overall opinion of it. Um, what do we need to learn for these games this season? I probably should rephrase that ticker line, but what should we learn for these games this season? Because if I'm going to be honest with you, Alistair, there's been a bit of disappointment for me, if I'm being honest with you.
there's been a disappointment in the respect, Josh, that we seem to have lost a lot of goals in transition. We've been on the attack and they broke away and scored. I think that's what we need. I've said this before. We need a bastard in the middle.
Need stability. It's stability, I think.
Need strength.
And I'm going to go into midfield because I want to discuss a player who's been again. I mean, it's no time who it is, but I just think I agree with you 100%. I just felt every time Celtic came forward, Rangers, as soon as they nicked the ball off us, would just counter it, and Raskin was that bastard for them. And he was, he'd done done the don't like the probably know the fancy work, but and that's I think I've continues to say that, but I do think the summer Celtic's midfield needs a rework. And we need to see a more clear identity because I just think at times this season, not even just in the Rangers games, I think the Celtic midfield has lost a bit of identity. I think Callum McGregor's the only really mainstay in there. Engels, we don't really know what midfielder he is at the moment, and Hatate is your kind of flair. There's nobody who's just going to. I'm not saying somebody's just going to stay back all the time and tackle, but there's no that anchor who's going to.
Bernardo could be that player, but
I
think we would have seen it by now.
I think we need a player who's just going to be defensively sound and will come forward. I don't, but when Rangers are in that transition, and even out with that, I just felt at times we could have maybe just tripped him up.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as the corner was made a mess of him, somebody take him out, but don't bother. And that's where the goal came from. And if you really think about it, Josh, they never had another chance after that, really.
I know it's just I think Celtic have got a lot to learn because I don't think that derbies.
We're no good at the dark arts.
We're no good at derbies anymore, to be honest with you, at this point. And I know people are going to say to me, we won two, it matters. Yeah, everyone matters equally to me, to be honest with you. A derby's a derby, and I've said it, I think we've all said it, to be honest. I don't really like what I've seen in the last few derbies from Celtic. I don't think we spoke.
It was better than Celtic Park, but it wouldn't be hard.
But that's the thing. We every single derby, we're always speaking about will they learn? Well, I don't think they have learned too much, and it was a draw, but Rangers were there for the taking. Like
We should
they
have
were.
won. I mean, that one at the end still haunts me.
It's not even, the one at the end as well, but the lack of cutting edge in the final third. We had a lot of the ball, and I've seen a lot of this. I don't believe in possession. I don't. I think possession stats can be so misleading. Like for instance, Inter Milan last night beat Barcelona with 23% of the ball.
Yeah.
It's how you use it, and we saw last night in the Inter Milan game used it to perfection.
Traps.
Used it to perfection and countered, and so I think Rangers were kind of happy for us just to have the ball, and they were getting their shape and defend, but we had to try and be quicker, and I just thought our final pass was really poor. I also think at this moment in time, we used to get into these games, Brendan Rodgers, we used to think, oh, his records, brilliant, and he's probably untouchable in these games. That's kind of wore off a bit now. Because he's not up against fucking Pep Guardiola. He's up against Barry Ferguson, and does it? I'm not saying I'm worried for next season or anything like that, but there's real big issues in these derby games that I think Brendan Rodgers is going to have to fix.
We
And I
need
think
a strong window.
we need a strong window. I think and it also needs to. He needs to. Now, I'm not trying to be harsh on him again here, right? Because I kind of slated him during the post match reaction. I don't take it back anything I said. I believe I think Liam Skate was pish, to be honest with you.
Good squad player, but that's all right.
Aye, he's a good squad player, but you're not. I'm sorry, but Austin Trusty should not be out this team ahead of Liam Scales. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. Trusty's not been perfect, but we don't. I don't think we don't concede that goal with Austin Trusty in the defence.
No, because he's bigger and physical.
Aye, Scales just. I mean, honestly,
I mean, he
my
goes his wrong foot.
my
And
wee
you know
brother,
I like skills.
my wee brother could have defended him better.
Over it, but
Aye, my wee brother could have defended him better than that. Honestly, and I mean that. I really do. I think it, and so I think Brendan Rodgers is like somebody made a joke, and I get this. It's like we could sign fucking Nuno Mendes and Marquinhos, and Brendan Rodgers would still play Liam Scales and Greg Taylor because and I don't want to.
I'm going to put my cards on the table, Josh. See all this talk about Greg Taylor staying? He's going.
Aye, but
No
I
doubt in my mind.
don't want to accuse Brendan Rodgers of this, but I do think he's got his favourites.
I think all managers have got favourites.
I know, but
to think different.
I say this to a lot of supporters. I don't see Liam Scale. He's not a Celtic centre half. I don't care what anybody says.
It's not a first pick one anyway.
I think he's third or fourth pick for me. I'd even have been Naroki in there ahead of him. If you want me to be brutally honest with you,
that ain't happening.
I'd even go as far as say I don't think he's that much better than what Stephen Welsh was at Celtic.
Well, that's hard.
And I'm sorry if it does come out, and I like Liam Scales, but Celtic, it looks to me if for £11 million in centre halves, and we're still, I'm trying not to have a go at Liam Scales, but does it say more about Celtic's recruitment that £11 million worth of centre halves are sitting on the bench? But this is the same Celtic. I remember years ago when we spent 10 million on two players and didn't play them in the Champions League qualifier.
Julian
Aye. So it seems to be a Celtic fucking thing. And I don't think
we bring them in too late and they're no match fit. That's another trick.
Aye. And I think that I don't think it's just. So I'm not going to speak about it because I don't think I don't like. Liam Scales is solid enough, right? He is. And that's where I'll level out. He's solid enough, right? But
We
and
wouldn't want to be going into Champions League
no,
qualifying.
exactly. You wouldn't want to get into Champions League war. Don't get me wrong, people might say, "Oh, he done a job in Atalanta," but that's when the backs are against the wall, and you probably weren't expected
That's
to get
when that was probably him and Trusty's best game for the club because all they were asked to do was clear the ball. They weren't
aye,
asked to bring the ball
aye.
out
And
and
I think
play.
that's when you see skills like in a game like that. There was a few times where he just booted the ball out the park. And it was quite interesting because when I was at Hampden watching the Scottish Cup semi, where I was sitting, I was pitch level, so you could see what the players were doing, and like Scales just kept giving it to Carter Vickers, and I think that maybe that's been a problem the whole season with any centre halves. I don't think this is just Scales' issue, but also I don't think it's just Scales is to blame because we get we drew all of day. I think there's bigger issues with the derbies now than just Liam Scales. I think it
I
was
just
okay.
think we're not clinical enough.
We're not clinical enough. Look at the chance that Ida just wastes trying to play through it for us. And you're
Yeah, I know.
like, normally what you would expect for a Celtic team in recent years in these derbies is we're hot on the scent. There's a chance we sniff it out and we score.
Did you notice Forrest never took Jeff to who's, let's be honest, he's their weak link. Never took him on once.
Aye. But, I look at chances like that with either, where he just doesn't even, like, the pass is terrible. It's really poor. And I think that's where the frustration comes with it, to be honest with you. You
He's
get
no
goal scored.
consistent, that's always
Aye.
been the trouble.
And I just think sometimes overall plays a bit stodgy at times, but I think there is a lot to learn. I think Rodgers has probably got a lot of thinking to do over the summer in terms of recruitment,
I think he
and
needs to change his system. Personally.
I think he also. I don't think he needs to change the system as such, but I think he needs to get a midfield with a bit more a different makeup in that midfield, because I don't think there is. I think it's just everybody's just Engels is just running about, and you're like, right, so what is your role in this Celtic squad at the moment? And Engels is probably getting a lot of the flack. We'll go on to Engels in a minute because I do want to discuss him because they've been getting quite a lot of flack.
A lot of it's unfair in my
And plus, I
opinion.
think with the Ida and Engels thing, I think it's 50-50. Some people think he had a decent game, which I thought Engels was decent enough on Sunday, and some think it was fucking terrible. So I don't. It's you think when you watch the same game at times, but I do think the managers get a bit to play in that as where right. So you're not telling a young guy no. You need to play in the number 8. You need to play in the number 6. You need to play in the number 10. And that's what we said about Engels, and that's what I said. I said Celtic have got the chance to mould Engels into whatever they want him to be. Is that number 6 or number 8 or whatever? I don't think Celtic have done that for me with Engels, and that's
A
what we've got.
number 8, Josh.
I don't. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm still waiting that game from Engels to go. No, you know what? You're a number 8, and I think that's for me. That's down to the club. That's what he's meant to be coached to do. And that's what happens that's what you expect when you get a 21-year-old in who, even at Augsburg, I think he was quite, free range really, just kind of, and I thought, right, no, Celtic will come in and say, no, we want you to play the Callum McGregor role. We want you to play, maybe even the Hatate role. We want you to play whatever role. And,
Sorry, Josh. And let's be honest. If we sign Lennon Miller, which a lot of fans want to do in the summer, we're going to have the same problem with him because he's not fully developed into the type of player that nobody can sit and watch Lennon Miller, Arne Engels and say, that's what they do. Because they're too young.
And I think
not
a lot
developed.
of people have got that. Oh, what does he do? What have we bought? And you're like, and blaming Engels for it. And I'm a bit like, yeah, but he has also 21-year-olds. So, I do blame the club more than I probably blame the player, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, because I think it's the club's got a massive responsibility when you bring in young players, and that could be Arnie Engels at £11 million. No, I don't bring price tag. I don't. It's pointless. The player doesn't decide that. But
No.
also, it could be Luke McCowan at 21 at £1 million. It doesn't matter. They've got a responsibility to mould players. And I was throwing the criticism. We spoke about Engels there, so I'll move on to Ida. Ida's becoming an enigma for me, to be honest. And you're going to laugh at me for probably saying this. I think Celtic and Rangers have got two very similar strikers at the moment in terms of fan opinion on them. Because if you look at Dessers over the other side of the city, fans can't be arsed on him. He misses sitters, but he scores goals, and you're like, he's quite shoddy in terms of I think he does similar to that.
There's one difference, Josh. Dessers plays a lot more for the start for us than he did.
I
No,
get
for
that.
us.
For Rangers.
Dessers plays a lot more for Rangers than Ida plays for us. And I think one is pushing 30, one is 24.
No,
I'm not gonna say Ida's been great for us this year, but he's been no as bad as a lot of people think. The numbers stack up, Josh. I mean,
aye.
I think is it 18 goals and something like 15 starts?
I think so. I think something like that.
So that's not bad for him. And I say this to you every week at games. It's no easy coming on with half an hour.
No, of course
15
it's not.
minutes, 20 minutes here and there. So, and see, to be honest, if you go back to the start when we signed him, I think he's played something like 48 appearances for us and 48 appearances, and he's got about 29 goals. That's not bad.
No, I understood that. I think the big thing that frustrates me with Adam either is that I just don't like how he gives away possession.
It's the laid backness that annoys me.
It's the laid backness at times. And do you know what frustrates me even more? Because I know, I think this is every Celtic supporter. We know what he's capable of.
Well,
We
look at
know
the Kilmarnock game and
look at the Kilmarnock game. Look at the 2 goals he got against Villa. Look at even recently, he's St Johnstone come on, look brilliant, and you're like, right, you've got this in you. So why? And that's what you say there on about the consistency. It's how have we seen this one every? And I'm sorry to break it to you, but a striker for Celtic Football Club needs to be doing it every game.
Yeah.
Or people are going to start to notice. And I like either I really do, and I think he'll do fine at Celtic. But see if, and I'm really hoping this is the case. See if he comes out, and maybe he's maybe it is just trying to get used to it. But I don't know. Maybe the pre-season.
He's got the Georgie Samaras about him.
Somebody said
Samaras was a bit like that because he would drive you nuts, but then he would do something. You would think, how did he do that?
Don't get me wrong. Like half time, for instance, I was going mental at him at half time at the Rangers game.
Because the steam was coming out the phone.
And then he scored, and he don't get me wrong, the shot was about deflecting, but
he probably scored the hardest chance.
Aye, that's what I'm trying to. That's why I keep see. That's what for Dessers do I get it. So it's like things like that. It's like for the goal he scored at Ibrox. That the strike was deflected and stuff, but he still held it in really well, and that's what I'm wanting for you. So why? But then the next touch, it looks like he's got a fucking anchor in his boots.
The one that really annoyed me, I don't know if you remember the one that had a similar to his goal. He could have laid it back to Bernardo.
Aye.
For a shot, and he blown it out of the bar. I'm like.
And then it's just a simple one where, he could have played Forrest in for a one-on-one with Kelly, and he just completely overburns the pass, and you're like, right, Adam, this is the bits when I get annoyed. But, I've not gave up on him. I think he'll still do a job. I think he's got...
I don't think he's going anywhere, nor should he.
Aye.
But I do think it. Listen, this isn't about relevant to discuss, but I think me and you banged the drum about needing another striker.
Aye, we definitely need the one. Because going on what the evidence is, I don't think we could rely on either for 30 games this season.
No.
And that's no spite. That's just wanting, the best for Celtics. I'd be buzzing with another striker in Adam Ida, because I know Adam Ida can do a job. Of course he can, but that's what I'm saying. If Adam Ida can maybe sort out some of the wee, and
I mean,
it's only wee bits. If he can just be a bit more clinical consistently, and don't get me wrong, I could take a pre-season and he could be fine.
I felt
Maybe.
sorry for Johnny Kenny. You could see he was absolutely
Aye.
buff, but they got back there.
But for either that could take a pre-season, he can get all the kind of be. We're not going to get a perfect player. I'm aware of that, but there's just points where you seem like a junior footballer at times. Your touch just
Yeah,
seems.
attitude, it's a laid back attitude that drives me nuts.
But if he can, trust me, we've seen it happen. If he can sort his touch and stuff like that out,
Well,
he can score goals, and I've got no doubt. And I think that goes for Engels as well. A pre-season will hopefully.
look at
Darren,
Nicholas Green. I mean,
aye,
this time last year, you wouldn't have given tuppence for Nicholas Green.
aye.
I would just, I hope we can. I think the one player I do fear for in the long term, and this might be controversial because I know he's popular with supporters. The fact Luke McGowan never come over the bench would be a worry, because if you're no coming off the bench in a game like that for the last 20 minutes even, and I just w- that told me a lot. I wonder if Rogers was pissed off at the wee joke he made, because Rogers does this
Nah, I don't think so.
white thing like that.
Nah, I don't think so. If we're getting pissed off at players for doing that, then I mean, football's fucked. To be
I
honest
know.
with you.
I'm not saying I had a problem with it. I actually found that a bit funny, but
To be honest with you, it's a rivalry at the end of the day, and but like in terms of players like Eden and Engels, I think hopefully a pre-season does them the world a good, and hopefully
yeah,
I
they
think
wouldn't be the first ones to hear average first full season at the club and be good players for us. So I would just,
I've made it clear I've got no doubts that Arne Engels will become a good player at Celtic. And I just
you
think
get what you pay for. I've always
I've seen it. I've seen it. I know, and that's what I try and tell people. I've seen it with Arne Engels. I know what he can do. I said this when I signed him. I know what he can do. So hopefully with either as well get a pre-season, because the one time we do a pre-season obviously at Celtic because of the club. So, but Alistair, moving on to the next bit on the agenda. So probably a bit of a rant for another 5 minutes. The Celtic board just,
read the room.
I read the room right. So for context, right, for an average season ticket, they've probably took about £640 out of people's accounts.
Yeah.
So with the Celtic, do maybe give a wee gift, or like, so I say thank you for your support? No, but also you've just spent about nearly £30 in cup final tickets,
Yeah.
probably more. But did they Did they give a wee gift and say, "Oh, thanks for your support"? No. What Celtic think? It's the thing to do, and this is, I mean, you heard me when we spoke about this on the phone. I was absolutely fucking fuming. Celtic think it's appropriate to go at that. Here, gives £25 for that pointless pre-season friendly. So I'll read it out. Celtic will host Newcastle United on Saturday, the July 19th, the 19th, 2025 special pre-season match.
Fair week.
Aye. So Scotland and England. Anyway, this is the joy scenes. So Brendan Rodgers says, and it's like some of the words. It's like come out and clinch the Adidas trophy, prestigious, friendly. Oh my god, it's like, so the prices for this: £25 for fucking adults, £17 for concessions, and under 13s at £12 a pop. I'm sorry, but that is for a pre-season friendly, by the way.
That we've not had my season ticket for the last 2-3 seasons, by the way.
So we don't get. No, I'm not trying to scrounge off Celtic, but I do think it's for people who are paying upwards of £600 on a season ticket. Surely, fuck, you can give them a daft pre-season friendly where it's going to be B teams that are going to be playing and things like that. We don't get a Champions League. We don't get a Champions League qualifying. We don't get the friendlies anywhere on a season ticket. You know, season tickets have got no value whatsoever these days. I'm sorry, it is a joke.
Yeah.
It is a joke. And, you know, the typical argument for people who want to bootlick the board, and I will call them that because that's what they're doing. Oh, we don't need to go. No, enough. It's not even about me either, right? Say, you know, a family don't get to Celtic very often because it's hard to get tickets at Celtic Park. Because all the season tickets and all the waiting lists and whatever else. So say, you know, a father and their parents want to take their kids along to Celtic Park to let them experience
£150.
to let them experience Celtic Park for the first time. Why not put the tickets at £10, £15?
Yeah, I know.
And let these supporters come along and experience Celtic Park. I won't be attending. I don't really like friends like that. I'm not paying £25 for a friendly.
No.
And you know, I'm not trying to just get everything for nothing, but come on.
I mean, I'm not being funny, Josh. See what gets me? Rather than say announce at the start, even before the season tickets are launched, right? The season ticket holders get a discount of.
I remember for your season ticket I remember the season ticket used to get free tickets.
And even a beach towel.
I remember, well, there you go. I bought the Lisbon Lion top in 2018. I got a free Lisbon Lion beach towel, shower towel, whatever you call them. You don't get fuck all. You don't get fuck all now, I'm not really that bothered about a daft beach towel, but it's not really the fact. I'm not really bothered. Don't get it for nothing. I'm not really fussed about that. And don't get me wrong, I'm fussed, but I'm not exactly. But you know, I think we should be getting because people are paying £600, but they pay enough. Now they pay enough because you're going to probably have to, you know, pay your season ticket, which doesn't include the Champions League playoff. It'll probably be about £35-40 a pop.
And you've got a European package or something.
So a European package of the Europa League or the Champions League. And by the way, people say it's cheaper if we get the Europa League. There's no much discrepancy. There's not much difference. Maybe like a few quid.
If you actually look at the pots of both tournaments, the projected pots, the Europa League looks a lot stronger projectively than it was this year, for example.
Aye, it's a complete and utter joke. The pricing is all wrong. You know, it's ridiculous. It really is, and it's, you know, I'd love to see the attendance. It could honestly be a record low attendance, man. And but instead, you know,
Ryan 118 he did a video yesterday. Now I don't know when he recorded it, but he said look at it. He said it's been up for at least 4 hours and only a couple of hundred tickets. So, but then again, I'm thinking, do you blame people? As I said, it's Glasgow Fair Week.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to actually see if I can look at tickets. Like, show available. Let's see. So, let me see e-ticketing. I need to sign in, but I'm not signing in. So, but I mean, it would not surprise me if there was only because
You'll
nobody's
get the. I think you'll get about 18,000.
nobody's paying £25 to watch Celtic B team versus Newcastle B team.
And let's be honest, even if it is the full team, it's only got to be 45 minutes, and then you've got all the substitutes.
Don't get me wrong, like see £10, £15, fine, completely fine by me.
I'll give you an example, right? The Emirates have the Emirates Cup. £25 if you're having a tournament like Scotland. I get that, but it's one game.
It's one game.
Yeah, like,
They can sit there and they can add some Adidas trophy all they want. It's a friendly. They can try and
well,
make it out of this competitive and all this
you
shit.
know, Josh, I was down at the Sunderland one for the Daffabet Trophy. I wonder if that's still in the trophy room somewhere.
And I don't get me wrong. Some of these pre-season runners are decent, but they're not £25 worth. Like honestly, let's get that. It's the price.
Glorified training session.
All season ticket holders should be getting it for nothing on their season ticket. That is the realistic thing for me.
Yeah, and it would.
And if people want to call me
for the club just to put it out there and give us something back, because it seems to be take at the moment.
And if opposition fans want to come and call us cheapskates now, then when you pay your £600 a season ticket money every season, then you can feel free. But
what is SPFL football, by the way?
I just think it's completely. I mean,
but we're spoiled, of course.
It's so out of touch. It is generally so out of touch, but does it surprise me? No, doesn't it surprise me? But I needed a wee rant with that because it was really pissing me off. It really was.
I can tell.
No, but it's just ridiculous. You're robbing, families.
I mean, okay, Josh, I'm going to ask you this, and I've no bothered declaring mine. How much was your cup final ticket?
I think it was like £30 odd.
Yeah, plus, well, mine was 33, including the booking fee.
Right.
So we paid £33 each for.
And by the way, that's probably cheap. There's probably people that are paying upwards of £40, £50.
Right. But anyway, the point I'm making is we paid £33 to see Celtic hopefully won a treble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But yet, our own club is asking us to pay 25 to watch a glorified final.
What this one out, right? No, take the context of the game out of it and take what the result was out of it, because it wasn't very good, right? But Celtic fans paid £14 to watch Celtic versus Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. And by the way, in that £14 included free bus travel, free train travel,
and a free blindfold.
Well, unfortunately not. But anyway, the point is, it's a wider thing for me. The ticket things in Scottish football and just football in the UK in general is a joke. And that's why I always refer to Germany, because I think what they do in terms of ticket prices is fantastic. I think it's brilliant, and that's why
Germany are the best in Europe at the way they treat football fans.
And that's why you see 60, 70,000, 80 odd thousand at Dortmund Stadium, at Bayern Munich Stadium, at fucking even lower grounds, your Augsburgs and teams like that, because it's so easy to get to. And it's cheap, but that's the thing. It's a real big problem in this country, and fans are just get rid of all clubs. This isn't even Celtic; they just get the absolute bastard ripped out of them. To be honest,
look at the whole United carry on.
But but Celtic fans get lambasted for that, even though people don't kind of actually look and see that this is a bit of an issue here. But because
across the board,
but because people can't look by and go at, because some fans need to find a daft pole at Celtic Park, they can't actually.
They can't move, by the way.
But anyway, going to wrap it up there. We'll be back probably Thursday or Friday, probably tomorrow or Friday. I've got an interview with Tony Haggerty to discuss, so we'll get him back on the channel to discuss just the overall season and get his thoughts. We'll also be back.
Subbed off, am I?
Aye. And we'll be back, obviously, with me and Alistair on probably Friday for the build up to the Hibs game on Saturday at Celtic Park. Until then, we'll speak.
We've been at Celtic Park.
I know we've not been at Celtic Park for
Especially you.
about a month, because the last game I went was at Manchester, so I couldn't actually make the game. But we'll be back, as I said, on Friday for the build up to that game at Saturday on Celtic Park. Until then, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.